Hi, my name is Sarah Scoville, and this is my final project. As an employee at our local technical college in the state of Wisconsin, I am involved in the strategic planning initiatives. The school's 3-year plan outlines the option of adding a dorm at a cost of $15 million. The college recently released a facility plan, which is a possibility list of projects that leaders would like to see for the school in the future, and this was one of the many wish list projects on the strategic plan. Our local college is at a particularly low student full-time equivalent count, FTE count. With this low student full-time equivalent count, the local technical college has been researching ways to recruit students and improve graduation rates while minimizing expenses. Hence why I chose this research field in education. The project title is Analysis of Campus Housing and Graduation Rates, and my main overall objective is there a relationship between campus housing and graduation rates in the public 2-year Midwest United States technical colleges? I will focus on the 150% graduation rate, which I'll talk about in a minute. The Federal Student Right to Know Act of 1990 legally established the requirement that all institutions participating in Title IV, which is student financial assistance, programs must annually report their graduation rate for all first-time, full-time, degree or certificate-seeking students. To carry out this requirement, the National Center for Education Statistics, NCES, developed the Graduation Rate Survey as part of the Integrated Post-Secondary Education Data System, which you will hear me talk about as IPEDS. IPEDS graduation rate computations involve calculating the percentage of students who complete a degree or certificate within a specific period of time for both associate and bachelor degrees. So for an associate's degree, 100% of normal time is considered as 2 academic years. 150% of normal is defined as graduating within 3 years. And 200% of normal time is defined as graduating within 4 years. Of these, the 150% measure is most often used and reported. All data was collected in June 2016 through the Integrated Post-Secondary Education Data System, IPEDS, within the National Center for Education Statistics, NCES. SAS 9.4 and Microsoft Excel were used to create graphs and to conduct statistical analysis. A 2-proportion t-test with alpha equal to 0.05 was used. According to Wikipedia, the Midwestern United States was identified and determined. These states included North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, Minnesota, Iowa, Missouri, Wisconsin, Illinois, Michigan, Indiana, and Ohio. Following state identification, data regarding graduation rates were determined, specifically the 150% graduation rate. The completion of all IPEDS surveys is mandatory for institutions that participate in or are applicants for participation in any federal student financial aid program. Data for this project was found using IPEDS and therefore included all 2-year public Midwestern United States technical colleges that participate in any federal student financial aid program. This included a total sample size of N equals 223 Midwestern United States technical colleges, 154 with no campus housing, and 69 that do have campus housing. Of these 223 Midwestern United States technical colleges, 6 reported no IPEDS data but were still included in the data set with a period. For the purpose of the study, it is important to recognize that both technical college and community college may be interchangeable. Both terms are used to describe a public 2-year college system. This brings us to our research question. My main research question is there a relationship between campus housing and 150% graduation rate in the public 2-year Midwest United States technical college system? While going through my research project, I also thought it may be interesting to look at 2 other research questions. My extra research questions include the first one. Is there a difference between campus housing option and other graduation rates, the 100 or 200%, in the public two-year Midwest United States Technical College system? And the second extra research question is there a relationship between campus housing and retention of first-year students in the public two-year Midwest United States Technical College system? Here's an example of the study diagram that I did use. It really depicts and shows you that we started out with 223 Midwest United States Technical College systems that were identified overall, and 154 were identified as no campus housing, and 69 were identified as those that do have campus housing. After looking at the statistical questions, the variables of interest, and study diagram, I then continued with exploratory data analysis, specifically looking at data cleaning, raw data statistics, numerical exploratory data statistics, and pictorial exploratory data statistics. In the next slides, you will see this type of information. Notice that when we get to the picture exploratory data statistics, you'll start recognizing that data looks skewed right with extremely high outliers. So far, in our exploratory data analysis, we have indicated a skewed right distribution, which allows us to question which technical colleges are considered extreme outliers. Since our data is skewed right, we will focus on the outliers that have high graduation rates. By using the univariate function, our SAS output indicates the information given in Table 3 below. Just some overall thoughts in general about my exploratory data analysis. Technical colleges that do not have campus housing is more than double the number of technical colleges that do have campus housing. Technical colleges that do have campus housing has a much higher graduation rate, mean and median. And by examining the box plot, those with campus housing have less variability than those without campus housing. By looking at the comparison between campus housing and no campus housing, we have noted that it's skewed right, which means high outliers. After observing which colleges were extreme outliers, there's no clear pattern as to why they are extreme outliers. We can see that Minnesota has 4 of them, but they're split between campus housing and no campus housing. For my statistical analysis, I used a 2 proportional t-test and had to first check for the assumptions of independence, normality, and equal variances. And if you look at these plots, plot 1, plot 2, and plot 3, especially in plot 2 and plot 3, you will notice that in plot 2, a normality does not work. It does not follow a normal curve, and we can't claim the normality assumption is met. Also, if you look at 3, it deviates from that line. After checking our assumptions of independence, normality, and equal variance, I did realize that I did have to do transformation of data. So I looked at all the typical transformations that we do, and I completed it using the original squared, square root, logarithm, reciprocal square root, and reciprocal. Your objective is that your AIC, AICC, and BIC is small. And as you notice across the logarithmic transformation, you'll see that those numbers are small. Therefore, I did do a logarithmic transformation of data. After completing the 2 proportional t-test, we will see that our p-value ends up being extremely small, which means that it's statistically significant. So research question number 1. Is there a relationship between campus housing and the 150% graduation rates in the public 2-year Midwest United States technical colleges? Absolutely. Since our p-value is smaller than 0.05, we are at least 95% confident that there's a relationship between campus housing and 150% graduation rates in the public 2-year Midwest United States technical colleges. In fact, given that it's so small, we can be 99.9% certain that campus housing does have an effect on those 150% graduation rates in the public 2-year Midwest United States technical colleges. As I stated, I also looked at other considerations and findings, and here's the next one. Comparing the graduation rates 100%, 150, and 200 between the Midwest United States technical colleges. And at the table below, Table 8, you'll recognize that all three p-values are less than 0.05. These low p-values indicate that no matter what graduation rate period you use, we can be certain that campus housing does have an effect on graduation rates in the public 2-year Midwest United States technical colleges. And to me, results are not surprising, whether it's 100, 150, or 200 students that are graduating. My second additional research question was, is there a relationship between campus housing and first-year retention rates in the public 2-year Midwest United States technical college? And if you look below at the p-values between whether it's a full-time student or part-time student, you'll see that the p-values are extremely high, which was surprising for me. Since our p-value is greater than 0.05, we cannot determine that there is a relationship between campus housing and first-year retention in the public 2-year Midwest United States Technical College. I will now speak to you about the cautions and considerations within my project. Since the data is collected only regarding first-time degree certificate-seeking undergraduate students, we are missing a bulk of students who are not first-time degree-seeking students. We know very little about other activities and environments that may play a large role in graduation rate. These activities, such as student life and sports entertainment, need to be a consideration and may be a factor as to why some of the graduation rates have skewed the original data. The unique student base at the community college may also be a consideration regarding graduation rates. Many of them have families to support, have poor academic preparation, have transportation problems, and come with these financial burdens. Student characteristics were also not taken into consideration, and I would suggest using this data when continuing the research process in the future. Statistical challenges that I found was, one, what statistical tests should I use? I first started going through the project using ANOVA, specifically a one-way ANOVA, but realized that I was working with a two proportion t-test because my statistical question that I was looking at was, does the 150% graduation rate means of housing types, are they all equal? That would be my no. We really weren't talking about the means, we were really talking about that graduation rate, so we were talking proportions. So my first statistical challenge was, what test should I use? Should it be an ANOVA or should it be a two proportion t-test? And I found out that it should be the two proportion t-test. My next statistical challenge was, should I include other factors, specifically state, within my project? And if I do, should I have used a block on states? Well, looking at my technical college, our vice president asked me to just look at graduation rates in general. And so I chose not to choose other factors such as state within my project because at the technical college level that I worked at, they did not want me to look at that as a factor. But if I were to redo this project again, I would then choose to look at state as a factor because when looking at the raw data, specific states, like I stated, those in Ohio and Illinois that have a high population density, do not have campus housing. So is that a factor there? Another statistical challenge is, what other factors besides state identification would be beneficial for an audience? Should I have looked at gender? Should I have also looked at race? What other factors should I have used in that? Another statistical challenge is, what test would I use if there were multiple factors but were still used in a proportion graduation rate? Could I change it to an ANOVA, or should I still look at a proportion t-test? And also the final statistical challenge is, was it okay to investigate 3 statistical questions versus the original one? I did. In my project, I did start with the original one, but I also investigated 3 other statistical questions. And my question is, was that okay? Thank you.